They said it couldn't be done, that Africa lacked the resources, the funding, the infrastructure, the innovation. But today, Africa has done what the world's superpowers only dreamed of, and the planet may never be the same. A carbon-negative power plant, not in Silicon Valley, not in Germany, but right here in the heart of Africa, built by African minds, fueled by African determination. This isn't just about clean energy. This is about reversing climate change. A power plant that doesn't just avoid emissions. It removes carbon dioxide from the air. It's like planting millions of trees, but faster, smarter, and more powerful. The innovation? A brilliant fusion of bioenergy, carbon capture, and AI-powered optimization. Organic waste is converted into energy, while CO2 is trapped deep underground or turned into solid carbon blocks. The result? A facility that cleans the atmosphere every single second it's running. Led by a coalition of young African engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs, the project not only powers homes and industries, it rewrites the rules of what's possible. Global leaders are stunned. Energy analysts are calling it a climate miracle. And tech giants are scrambling to learn how Africa leapt ahead in the race for negative emissions. While the West debates, Africa builds. While others invest in offsets, Africa creates solutions at scale. This carbon-negative power plant isn't just a first, it's the future, and Africa is leading it. This is what happens when innovation meets purpose, when a continent rises not just to survive, but to lead. If you thought Africa was just catching up, think again. The revolution is here, and it's carbon-negative. For decades, the world looked at Africa as a continent of potential, but not power, of natural beauty, but not innovation. That changes today. In a quiet corner of Africa, a group of visionary engineers have done what billion-dollar tech empires failed to achieve. Not just clean energy, but energy that heals the earth. While the industrialized world races to reduce emissions, Africa has leapt ahead, building a power plant that removes more carbon than it emits. A groundbreaking leap in energy innovation, birthed not in Europe, not in Silicon Valley, but in Africa. How does it work? The system uses a technique known as BCCS, bioenergy with carbon capture and storage. Organic materials are converted into electricity. But here's the twist. Instead of releasing carbon, this plant traps it, underground or in reusable solid form. The result? A facility that actually makes the air cleaner as it powers homes, schools, and entire cities. Climate scientists are calling it revolutionary. International energy agencies are demanding to see the blueprints. And world governments? Silence by the sound of African innovation echoing across the globe. This is more than just technology. It's a message that innovation has no borders, that solutions to global problems can come from unexpected places, even those long overlooked. At the heart of this project, a team of young African engineers, many under 35, combining ancestral wisdom with cutting-edge science. Their mission, not just to power Africa, but to lead the planet. From lighting up villages to removing CO2 from the atmosphere, this plan is more than infrastructure. It's hope made tangible. It's proof that the future isn't built by those who shout the loudest, but by those who dare to act. Africa has shocked the world, not with noise, but with brilliance. The first carbon-negative power plant isn't a promise. It's a reality, built by African hands, driven by African minds, and watched now by the world. But this isn't just one plant. It's a prototype, a living blueprint. The engineers behind it envision dozens, even hundreds, of these carbon-negative facilities spread across the continent, from the Sahel to the Cape, from the coast of Ghana to the heart of Ethiopia, each one transforming waste into wealth, emissions into energy, and air pollution into opportunity. We weren't trying to compete with the West, says one of the lead engineers. We were trying to solve our own problems. The fact that the world noticed, that was just a bonus. And saw they did. In regions where electricity has been scarce and unreliable, this power plant not only lights homes, it empowers economies. Children now study after sunset. Clinics operate without interruption. Farmers irrigate without fuel generators. The ripple effects are staggering, and all of it carbon negative. This is not charity. It's innovation, not aid, but agency. Africa is no longer asking for permission to lead. It's already doing it. Plans are already underway to replicate the model in neighboring countries, and international partners are listening. For once, Africa isn't being told what to do. It's showing others what can be done. This is a turning point, not just for Africa, but for humanity. A reminder that leadership isn't born from dominance, but from vision, resilience, and action. And in the fight against climate change, maybe, just maybe, the world's next hero isn't a billionaire, but a barefoot engineer with a solar dream. The revolution is real. The innovation is African. And this is only the beginning. In boardrooms across the globe, something unexpected is happening. Energy CEOs are urgently scheduling calls. Think tanks are rewriting reports. And politicians, who once dismissed Africa's role in climate innovation, are now watching with silent unease. For decades, the world's energy giants controlled the narrative. Fossil fuels were necessary. Renewable energy was expensive, and innovation only happened in the global north. But this carbon-negative power plant just shattered that illusion. Now, legacy industries are panicking. Why invest billions in carbon offsets and complex net-zero strategies when Africa just built a solution that actually erases emissions while generating revenue? Of course, not everyone is cheering. Whispers of sabotage, delayed funding, and blocked patents have already begun surfacing. Some global players aren't ready to hand over the spotlight, especially to a continent they once dismissed. In a stunning reversal, African engineers are now being invited to lecture at prestigious universities. Environmental delegations are flying in not to teach, but to learn. The flow of knowledge has reversed. The teacher is now African. This power plant may be the first, but it won't be the last. With open-source designs, localized training hubs, and growing international interest, the model is rapidly spreading. Each node on the map marks not just another plant, but another step toward an entirely new energy future, one led by collaboration, sustainability, and independence. And something else is happening, too. In schools, kids are now dreaming of becoming engineers, climate scientists, and inventors. In rural towns, local leaders are asking not if they can build one, but when. The carbon-negative revolution is no longer a story about technology. It's about identity. It's about reclaiming the future. But what happens when this African breakthrough starts threatening trillion-dollar oil profits? What happens when the world's most polluting industries begin to push back? Will this innovation rise, or will the system try to silence it? Somewhere in the marble corridors of global oil conglomerates and government lobbies, urgent meetings are taking place. The threat isn't just environmental anymore, it's economic. Africa's carbon-negative blueprint has exposed a terrifying truth for fossil fuel giants. A future without them is not only possible, it's already under construction. Terminate support, undermine credibility, discredit the data. These aren't movie lines. They're real-world strategies being discussed to halt the African breakthrough in its tracks. Multinational corporations, once dismissive, are now aggressively filing overlapping patents, claiming parts of the African design as their own. Others are buying up local land to prevent similar projects from taking root nearby. The energy war has quietly shifted, and this time, Africa is not just a battlefield, it's the leader being targeted. Then came the cyber attacks. The plant's monitoring systems were breached. Online campaigns surfaced, spreading misinformation, calling the project a hoax or an unsustainable fantasy. But the engineers had anticipated this. Data backups, independent audits, blockchain-based tracking of carbon removal. Every attempt to discredit the plant only strengthened its legitimacy. Instead of fighting alone, the African innovators launched a bold counteroffensive. Not with weapons, but with wisdom. They formed the Pan-African Clean Tech Alliance, a coalition of over 30 nations, universities, and independent startups dedicated to defending and expanding carbon-negative technologies. Shared data, joint development labs, legal teams trained to protect intellectual property. Africa is no longer a fragmented continent reacting to the world. It's a united force shaping it. Then something unexpected happened. People across the globe, from small towns in India to suburbs in Brazil, began sharing the African story. The hashtags went viral. Hashtag Carbon Negative Africa. Hashtag Innovation Unchained. What started as a single power plant has now sparked a global grassroots movement demanding carbon-negative energy, not in 10 years, but now. Behind the walls of the original facility, a new design is already underway. Smaller, cheaper, portable, designed not just for cities, but for rural villages, refugee camps, and remote islands. They call it Project Mosi, named after the smoke that thunders. Not just a machine, but a message. Africa will not wait to be saved. It is saving itself, and maybe the rest of us too. But the fight is far from over. As pressure mounts, as billions in fossil profits hang in the balance, powerful forces are aligning to strike harder, faster, and quieter. Officially, international leaders praise the project. Publicly, they applaud Africa's vision. But behind the cameras, pressure builds. Aid packages are delayed. Research partnerships are mysteriously withdrawn. Large-scale investors pull out without explanation. And most telling of all, global media quietly shifts focus, downplaying the carbon-negative breakthrough as a regional curiosity. In private memos leaked by whistleblowers, a chilling plan unfolds. A global energy lobby, backed by fossil fuel giants, is pouring millions into what they call a containment strategy. The case ignites outrage. Scientists, engineers, and entrepreneurs worldwide rally behind Africa. Crowdfunding campaigns explode. Legal defense teams step in from Germany, India, and Brazil, united in purpose. It's no longer just about power plants. It's about power, period. In a defiant response, the African engineers release a stripped-down, open-source version of their core design. Free to use, free to build, free to copy. Within weeks, small carbon-negative microstations begin popping up in Nepal and Chile in the Philippines. It's unstoppable now. The knowledge is decentralized. The power, literally, is in the people's hands. What began as a guarded prototype is now a global movement. 1 million sparks, lighting the future one community at a time. For the first time in history, Africa arrives at the Global Climate Summit not as a recipient of promises, but as a provider of solutions. And they don't come empty-handed. They come with data, working systems, and a blueprint that's already transforming the world. The summit ends not with pledges, but with plans, real commitments, real funding, real replication. But Africa doesn't stop there. A new initiative is quietly launched, integrating space-based sensors, AI weather modeling, and global carbon exchange metrics. The mission: build a real-time global dashboard so every citizen on Earth can track how much carbon is being removed, by whom, and where. The old world ran on control, of oil, of knowledge, of innovation. But the new world? It runs on collaboration, courage, and carbon-negative vision. Africa didn't just build a power plant. It built a movement. And no system, no lobby, no lawsuit can stop what has already begun.